Growth mindset for me is pupils' ability to see themselves as learners and to understand that their ability to learn isn't fixed. Their intelligence, the way your brain works, it's not fixed. The idea of a fixed mindset would be that your intelligence, there's a limit on it. You can do things or you can't do things. Whereas growth mindset would have you believe that anything's possible. If you can practice, learn the skills, you can persevere at something, you will be able to improve your level of whatever it is, your literacy, your maths, whatever it is you're trying to learn. What we were finding with the group that we were working with, they were a group that were struggling with their literacy. And so they were starting to feel that they couldn't do it. They weren't good at writing and weren't seeing themselves as writers. So what we wanted to do was instill in them the idea that they could improve, that by giving them a bit extra support, they could develop their skills. It wasn't the end of the world that they weren't maybe up to speed with their peers at this stage. They could do it. The group that I was working with, they came to me once a week to work on their literacy skills and also to have an input on growth mindset. So they were with me for about an hour and we split the time between doing spelling, doing writing, but also they had a direct input on growth mindset through a variety of resources, looking at videos and discussion about what growth mindset meant and how they could grow their brain. They also worked on setting their own targets and evaluating them so that they could see themselves develop. And what we found was they began to be more engaged with their learning and put in a bit more effort in what they were doing. So instead of maybe just writing a couple of sentences, they would challenge themselves more, and through the use of my feedback as well, giving them suggestions, they were more willing to take that on board and to sort of have the skills to think, how could I make it better, and know that they could make it better as well. Within the school, we do assessments in the class. So they do a cold assessment at the beginning of a unit of work and then a hot assessment once at the end of the work. And what we were able to do was compare the scores of the group with the average scores of the rest of their peers that weren't in the group. And what we saw was that those who attended the group, their scores had a much greater increase than the ones who hadn't attended the group. As a mindset champion, it was my role to develop the project within the school, to apply the research and that I'd gained through the Winning Scotland course into the practice in the school that I was doing, with the idea of showing what's possible within growth mindset and how it could be developed, with the aim of maybe increasing that within the school, showing colleagues and management an example of what could be achieved if it was developed across the school. The class teacher from the pupils who I was working with in my group, she noticed a change in the pupils, in their confidence and their willingness to engage with their tasks and to try new things. One of the things that makes you really aware of is your use of language, especially when you're giving praise to children, to make sure that you're not praising their final product, but to be acknowledging the effort that they've put into their learning, and to be really careful and mindful of the things that you are saying to them. I definitely think growth mindset is something that I would look to make sure any pupils I was working with, that they were aware of that. Even with my own children at home, I make sure that we say, no, you can't do it yet, we can develop that, and give them the idea as well that learning's not meant to be easy, it's meant to be a challenge, and feeling that something is difficult, that's good because it means your brain's growing, it means that you're learning new things. I think it's a really good opportunity not only to develop your skills within growth mindset, but also to run a small-scale study and consider the research and how that actually impacts in real school life, and look at how that can affect your practice and benefit the pupils.